My knitting could use a bit of a refresh, so come along with me as I frog some projects, clean out some project bags that have been sitting for entirely too long with nothing but notions and needles in them, and also as I clean out a very scary knitting notions drawer. Let's go! I have been putting this off for as long as I can because this drawer is very scary and I haven't gone through this in a very long time. It's probably been about a year, which is very sad because I have everything in here organized fairly well. And if I would just take a little bit of extra time at the end of each project to put things back in the correct spots, it wouldn't get to this state right here. So let me take a few things out and I'll walk you through how I organize this drawer and how I'm planning to not let it get to this state again. So the first thing that I have that's probably needs to be the most accessible is my notions pouch. I take this and throw it into whatever project I'm working on that I don't have tapestry needles or scissors with. It's just a simple zippered pouch and it's organized fairly well inside, where it's got a couple of notions, so some stitch markers, some tapestry needles are in this container, and then it's got a tape measure and some scissors down in there. So this one has to stay accessible, which is why this one usually is on top. I know it was kind of buried under a few things, but it's usually on top. I also have my collection of crochet hooks, which are just in, again, another zippered pouch. This one is still fairly accessible to me, but I don't crochet nearly as much as I knit. So this one is less in need of immediate access and more like, it's nice to know that it's in this drawer. I also have a spray bottle in here for when I am blocking my projects. This honestly probably doesn't need to be in this drawer specifically. I might find a different place for it, only because I'm not using this all the time. I'm really only using this when it comes time to actually block projects, which is not at the end of every project. So I think I might try to find a different home for this that maybe doesn't have to be my notions drawer. And then we get into the part that's kind of, a bit embarrassing because it's just loose needles. Yeah, just loose needles. These are 8 sets of needles and 1 cord. I have a very good organizational system set up for my needles. I just need to remember to use it and not just chuck my needles straight into the drawer. I have a lot of things in this drawer that are out of place because, again, I have a really bad habit of not putting things back in this drawer specifically. So I've got like some safety eyes that are sitting out. I have some, just some regular stitch markers that are sitting out. I've got some reinforcement thread. My tape measure kind of kicks around wherever it wants to. It doesn't really have a specific home in this drawer. I need to actually reorganize a few things and see if I can put it somewhere more specific. But for now, it just kind of kicks around and they're loose. Then I have my needle sets. I have some paperwork in here that I evidently kept because it's a pattern. I probably needed this for something. And if you can see the sheer level of stitch markers I have at the bottom here, this is where it's really embarrassing. I have like 2 or 3 places where I can put stitch markers, so I don't know why it's so hard for me to put them back. But these 2 containers are what I use to make additional stitch markers whenever I want to. I have a lot of charms collected from over the years, from back when I used to sell stitch markers, and also just charms that friends and family have gifted me. Some of these I need to have a look through and see which ones I actually want to make into stitch markers and which ones I'm ready to kind of let go of, because my stitch marker collection is quite vast and I don't see the need for me to have 1,000,000+ stitch markers. So yeah, that's what these 2 are. They're just supplies. These are where my safety eyes go. So any crochet toys that I make, any crochet stuffies, this is where I go to get the safety eyes. I've got some buttons, some pom-pom makers, and some more buttons. I also have random notions that I know I'll need for knitting or crochet, but I don't use them frequently. So things like small zippers, an extra tape measure, just things like that. And then this is my container that I actually think is fairly organized. It needs to have a clear out, but it is fairly organized because each little container in here has its own items in it. So I've got my T-pins for when I'm blocking. I've got stitch markers, and these are sorted by seasonal. So I've got some autumn and Halloween ones, some Christmas ones, and then some everyday ones. This is, like I said, it does need to clear out because there are things in here that are just misplaced. So I need to go through here and clear this out a little bit. But yeah, this was a great case. I think I found this on Amazon a while ago, and it's great because the actual case goes into the drawer nicely and keeps everything contained. But then when I want a specific container out of here, I can just take the individual container and chuck it into a project bag. Okay, so that's the majority of my notions. The only other thing I have in here are my needle bags, and I have them labeled if you can see that. So these are my DPNs, and then I've got large needles. These are the ones that are like size 13 and above that I'm only going to use for very specific projects. I've also got 16-inch circulars because I use those quite frequently. I'm a big hat knitter. And then I have my long circulars and then cords. So these are great. I think I also got these on Amazon a while ago. But these are great for sorting out your needles and cords and putting them into specific categories. And then they stand up quite well in the drawer. So that's those. Okay, just gave that a good vacuum. And now I'm ready to put everything back, and I'm going to sort things as I put things away. I'll time lapse this bit because nobody really needs to know the very specific things I'm putting away, and it'll be on screen anyway. I had one goal in mind when I started this refresh my knitting spaces process, and that one goal was to clean out this drawer. This is something I've been meaning to take care of for weeks, if not months, and I never could convince myself to do it. No amount of bribery could convince me to go into this very scary drawer until I decided I wanted to do a refresh of all of my spaces, and I knew that was going to be the only way that I was going to be able to make myself take care of this. So I'm very glad that my one goal got achieved here. Okay, and that is my notions drawer, fully reorganized, fully cleared out. This already feels so much better. I'm really happy with this because everything is back in its place. And honestly, I should be clearing this out more frequently than I have been. Actually, what I should be doing is putting things back at the end of projects. The only thing that didn't make it back into this drawer is the spray bottle I talked about. Again, this can technically fit in here. I'm sure that I could probably wedge it down in there and make it fit. But just because I don't use it that frequently, and I really only use it when it's time to block things, I'd rather it be somewhere else. I'll honestly probably try to find somewhere to put it near my blocking boards. That way it's where I would go to look for it anyway. So yeah, that's the only thing that didn't make it back in there. But again, I kind of knew that this wasn't going to go back in the drawer. But with that, this drawer is now done. Hi. Where can I... Okay, hopefully that doesn't fall. Onto my next worst habit when it comes to knitting, and that is never cleaning out my project bags. Both of these project bags have either finished projects in them, or I have already taken the finished project out and it's got leftover yarn, needles, notions, etc. Ignore anything you can see behind me. I have some artwork I need to hang up. I just haven't yet. But anyway, we're going to move on to emptying project bags. I'm going to have a quick sweep of where I keep my works in progress and make sure that I don't have any other bags in there that might be empty or might just have notions or needles or anything like that. Any other bags I need to clean out. But for now, let's get started with these two. Great. So the next thing that I need to do to feel more prepared to enter this new year of making is to frog some projects that I'm not planning on finishing. If you watched my last video that I uploaded to this channel, my What Whips Made It to 2026 video, then you will already know I'm planning on frogging 2 works in progress. One of which is a snowman that I started way too long ago and have zero interest in finishing. And the other is a sweater. I've already talked extensively about this sweater in my previous video, so if you want to know why I'm planning on ripping out this sweater, maybe head over there and watch that video. But for now, let's just get to frogging. I frogged the snowman in pretty much no time at all. It unraveled very easily. I need to wind up the yarn, but otherwise it's been completely unraveled. The sweater, however, took me a lot longer than I anticipated. I pictured it, coming apart like that, and I kind of didn't take into account that it was a fingering weight sweater, and I was going to have to stop every 2 rows and untwist the yarns. So at this point in time, I'm realizing this is going to take me a little bit longer than I thought. So I'm going to record a little clip here showing it, and then I'm going to stop recording because otherwise it will be 10,000 hours. The last thing that I want to do for my reset for my making spaces is cleaning out my Ravelry queue. I am not someone who uses my Ravelry queue. I filled it up a very long time ago, and I think I've looked at it maybe once since then. I had a whole plan once upon a time to knit a specific set of projects. There's actually a video on my channel back when I set up my Ravelry, but considering I'm not going to make those projects anymore, I think the kindest thing to do right now is to just clear the queue entirely. Maybe at some point I'll become somebody who uses the Ravelry queue, but I'm not that person yet. So if you can see on the screen here, I have just a bunch of projects that I was really excited about, and to be honest with you, there's some in here that I would probably like to knit eventually, but for now, I think we're just going to delete everything. I thought at first that there was an easy way to delete everything all at once, but I think it's just an easy way to rearrange them. Let me know in the comments if I'm incorrect and there is a way to delete them all. And just like that, my process of refreshing my making spaces comes to a close. I'm very proud of what I was able to achieve in this video. I'm very proud of the progress that I made, and I am excited that all my spaces feel refreshed. I was able to clean out project bags and put them away. I was able to frog projects that were no longer bringing me joy. I was able to tackle my scary knitting notions drawer. And I just feel so much better about stepping into this new season of making, knowing that my spaces are cleaned out and refreshed and ready for the new version of me that's going to make projects. I can't wait to see what I'm going to make in 2026. This may have been intended for January, but I'm really glad it worked out for now. If you liked this video, make sure that you hit the like button, make sure that you're subscribed so that you can get notified when I upload new videos. That's my time for now, so I will see you guys soon with a new video. Take care, happy knitting, and I will see you very soon.